Chosen ones, 7 divine secrets. How God chooses you didn't know. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be one of God's chosen ones? What does it take to be singled out by the divine for a higher purpose? Is it predetermined, or does it unfold through your life's journey? These questions have intrigued spiritual seekers for centuries. Today, we're going to explore how God chooses the chosen ones, unveiling 7 divine secrets that you may not have known. What makes this exploration unique is that we're not just sharing surface-level spiritual concepts. Instead, we're diving deep into ancient wisdom and timeless truths that have been hidden in plain sight. These secrets have transformed countless lives throughout history, yet they're rarely discussed in traditional religious teachings. Have you ever felt a deep stirring in your soul, a sense that you're meant for something more? That feeling isn't random. It's often the first sign of divine selection. But how can you be sure? What separates genuine divine calling from mere wishful thinking? This video is different because we're breaking down complex spiritual concepts into practical, actionable insights. You'll discover not just what it means to be chosen, but how to recognize and embrace your divine purpose with confidence and clarity. By the end of this journey, you'll understand the profound connection between your free will and divine destiny. You'll learn how to recognize authentic spiritual gifts, navigate the purification process, and align yourself with divine timing. Most importantly, you'll discover that being chosen isn't about superiority. It's about service and transformation. If you've ever felt that inexplicable pull toward something greater than yourself, if you've ever questioned whether you might be called for a higher purpose, take a moment right now and type "chosen" in the comments. Let's build a community of seekers who understand that being chosen comes with both profound privileges and sacred responsibilities. Are you ready to unlock these divine secrets? Let's begin this transformative journey together. Divine Secret 1, the call to the heart. Have you ever experienced a moment when your heart seemed to whisper secrets that your mind couldn't fully comprehend? What if those whispers were actually divine calls, gently nudging you toward your true purpose? How can one distinguish between ordinary thoughts and the sacred call that marks the beginning of a chosen one's journey? Let me share with you a profound story that illuminates the nature of this divine calling. In the quiet hills of Assisi, Italy, in the year 1205, a young man named Francis found himself kneeling before a crumbling chapel of San Damiano. Born into wealth and privilege, Francis had everything the world could offer, yet his heart felt inexplicably empty. As he prayed that day, something extraordinary happened. A voice, clear as morning dew yet powerful as thunder, spoke to him from the crucifix. "Francis, rebuild my church, which as you see is falling into ruins." At first, Francis interpreted this literally, beginning to rebuild the physical chapel with his own hands. But as time passed, he realized the call was far more profound. It was a divine invitation to restore the spiritual essence of the entire Christian church. This story mirrors the ancient biblical account of Samuel, a young boy serving in the temple who heard a voice calling his name in the night. 3 times he ran to Eli, the high priest, thinking it was him calling. It wasn't until the 4th time that Eli realized God was calling the boy directly, marking the beginning of Samuel's journey as one of the greatest prophets in biblical history. The call to the heart rarely announces itself with trumpets and fanfare. Instead, it often begins as a gentle stirring, a persistent feeling that there's something more to life than what meets the eye. For some, it manifests as an inexplicable longing that no worldly success can satisfy. For others, it appears as a sudden clarity during life's darkest moments. Consider Mother Teresa's call within a call. While serving as a comfortable teaching nun, she received an inner prompting to leave everything and serve the poorest of the poor in Calcutta's slums. This divine whisper transformed not only her life, but the lives of countless others through her work. These calls share common elements: They often come when we least expect them. They challenge our comfortable assumptions about life, and they require tremendous courage to follow. The divine call might appear during moments of profound joy or in the depths of despair. It might come through a dream, a sudden realization, or a series of seemingly coincidental events that point toward a greater purpose. But how can you recognize if what you're experiencing is truly a divine call? The answer lies in understanding its unique characteristics. Unlike ego-driven desires, the divine call persists even when we try to ignore it. It doesn't promise fame or fortune. Instead, it often calls us toward sacrifice and service. The call resonates deep within our being, touching something more profound than our ordinary thoughts and desires. Think of it as a spiritual fingerprint, unique to each individual yet bearing the unmistakable mark of divine origin. For some, it might be a calling to heal, for others to teach, to create, or to lead. But regardless of its specific form, the call always points towards something greater than personal gain. The most remarkable aspect of this divine calling is that it respects our free will. God doesn't force anyone to accept their chosen path. Instead, the call is an invitation, persistent yet gentle, powerful yet patient. Persistent yet gentle, powerful yet patient. Those who choose to follow it do so not out of obligation, but because they recognize a truth that resonates with their deepest being. As we stand at this threshold of understanding the first divine secret, remember that the call to the heart is just the beginning. It's the first note in a divine symphony that will gradually unfold in your life. Some of you listening right now might be experiencing this call, feeling that inexplicable pull towards something greater than yourself. But responding to this call is only the first step. As we'll discover in our next divine secret, answering this call sets in motion a profound process of purification, a necessary preparation for the remarkable journey ahead. For just as gold must pass through fire to reveal its true brilliance, the chosen ones must undergo their own refinement to fully embrace their divine purpose. Divine Secret 2, the purification process. Have you ever wondered why spiritual transformation often comes through struggle? What if the challenges you're facing aren't obstacles, but rather divine invitations to growth? Could your current trials be part of a sacred purification process? Let me share a profound story from the ancient desert fathers that illuminates this divine secret of purification. In the 4th century, there lived a wealthy merchant named Arsenius in Alexandria. Despite having everything the world could offer, he felt an inexplicable emptiness in his soul. One night, in the depths of his despair, he heard a voice in his dreams. "Arsenius, flee to the desert, and you shall find salvation." This call would lead him on a journey that perfectly illustrates the purification process the chosen ones must undergo. Like many of us, Arsenius initially resisted this call. He clung to his comfortable life, his wealth, his social status, but the voice persisted, growing stronger with each passing day. Finally, in a moment of surrender, he left everything behind and ventured into the harsh Egyptian desert. The desert, as it was for the Israelites during their 40-year exodus, became Arsenius's crucible of transformation. Every day brought new challenges: the scorching sun, the bitter cold of night, the constant hunger, the profound loneliness. Each trial stripped away another layer of his old identity, but something remarkable began to happen. As his external comforts fell away, Arsenius discovered an inner strength he never knew he possessed. The silence of the desert began to speak to him in ways the noise of the city never could. His prayers, once merely ritual, became deep conversations with the divine. This transformation mirrors what we see in biblical accounts. Consider the prophet Elijah, who found God not in the earthquake or fire, but in the gentle whisper that came after. Or think of Jesus' 40 days in the wilderness, a time of intense purification before beginning his ministry. The purification process, as Arsenius discovered, operates on multiple levels. First comes the stripping away, the removal of everything that isn't aligned with our divine purpose. This can be painful, like the refiner's fire mentioned in Malachi 3:3. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. But purification isn't just about removing the old. It's about creating space for something new. As Arsenius's attachments to worldly success fell away, he developed extraordinary spiritual gifts. His wisdom became so renowned that even emperors sought his counsel. Yet he remained humble, knowing that his true strength came from his surrender to the purification process. What's fascinating about this process is its universal nature. Whether you're in an ancient desert or a modern city, the principles remain the same. The challenges you face aren't random. They're precisely calibrated to help you release what no longer serves your divine purpose. Think about the areas of your life where you feel the most resistance. Could these be the very places where divine purification is trying to work? The relationship that keeps testing your patience, the career transition that feels overwhelming, the persistent health challenge, all might be opportunities for deep spiritual refinement. After 3 years in the desert, Arsenius emerged transformed. Those who knew him before barely recognized him, not because of his weathered appearance, but because of the light that seemed to shine from within him. He had discovered what every chosen one eventually learns, that purification, though challenging, is a gift. It's the process by which we become vessels capable of holding and transmitting divine light. This leads us to an essential understanding. Purification isn't punishment, it's preparation. Just as gold must pass through fire to reveal its true brilliance, chosen ones must pass through their own refiner's fire to fully embody their divine purpose. As we'll discover in our next secret, this purification process creates the perfect conditions for the awakening of extraordinary spiritual gifts. But before we explore that, remember, whatever challenges you're facing right now might be part of your own divine purification process. Trust in this process, knowing that every test is tailored to prepare you for your unique mission in the divine plan. Are you experiencing your own purification process right now? Share your story in the comments below with the word refine. Let's support each other on this transformative journey. Divine Secret 3: Awakening of Spiritual Gifts. Have you ever felt an inexplicable power stirring within you? A gift so profound it seemed to come from beyond yourself. What if these moments weren't just coincidences, but divine awakenings carefully orchestrated by a higher purpose? Let me share a remarkable story that illuminates the mystery of spiritual gifts. In the quiet hills of Galilee nearly 2,000 years ago, a simple fisherman named Peter experienced such an awakening. Before his divine encounter, he was known only for his work on the Sea of Galilee, casting nets into the waters at dawn. But everything changed on that fateful day when Jesus called him to become a fisher of men. What's particularly fascinating about Peter's story isn't just the dramatic transformation from fisherman to apostle. It's how his spiritual gifts emerged gradually, like a flower slowly opening its petals to the morning sun. Initially, Peter struggled with doubt, even denying his connection to Jesus 3 times. Yet this very struggle became the crucible for his spiritual awakening. The book of Acts records a remarkable incident that demonstrates this transformation. Standing before thousands in Jerusalem, Peter, once afraid and uncertain, suddenly found himself speaking with extraordinary wisdom and power. The scripture tells us that 3,000 souls were added to the early church that day. This wasn't mere eloquence. It was the awakening of a divine gift that had been dormant within him. But Peter's story isn't unique in its pattern. Throughout history, we see similar awakenings in unexpected places. Consider Mother Teresa, who discovered her gift for profound compassion in the streets of Calcutta, or Martin Luther King Jr., whose gift of prophetic vision emerged during America's civil rights struggle. Each of these chosen ones experienced their gifts not as sudden bursts of power, but as gradual unveilings of divine potential. The awakening of spiritual gifts often follows a distinct pattern. First comes awareness, a subtle recognition that something extraordinary is stirring within. Then comes resistance, the natural human tendency to doubt or question, the semen tendency to doubt or question this emerging abilities. Finally comes acceptance, the humble acknowledgement that these gifts are not for personal glory, but for divine purpose. These gifts manifest in various forms. Some discover the gift of healing, able to bring comfort and restoration to troubled souls. Others find themselves blessed with prophetic insight, seeing beyond the surface to deeper spiritual truths. Still others develop the gift of wisdom, offering guidance that seems to come from a higher source. But here's what's crucial to understand. These gifts aren't random allocations of spiritual power. They're precisely calibrated tools, given to fulfill specific divine purposes. Just as a master craftsman selects exactly the right tool for each task, the divine chooses specific gifts for each chosen one, aligned perfectly with their mission. Consider this. What appears as a burden might actually be the cocoon of a spiritual gift waiting to emerge. That deep empathy that sometimes overwhelms you. It could be the beginning of a healing gift, that persistent urge to speak truth in difficult situations. Perhaps it's a prophetic gift stirring to life. The awakening of spiritual gifts comes with responsibility. Like any precious resource, these gifts must be nurtured, developed, and used wisely. They're not meant to inflate the ego, but to serve divine purposes. Often, the most powerful gifts emerge through the most challenging circumstances, refined by trials and strengthened through adversity. As we witness the unfolding of these divine gifts in our own lives, we begin to understand that we're part of a greater tapestry. Each gift, when properly understood and applied, contributes to the collective spiritual evolution of humanity. This understanding leads us to approach our gifts with both gratitude and reverence. As our spiritual gifts awaken and mature, we find ourselves drawn naturally into the next phase of our journey, understanding the delicate dance between destiny and free will. But before we explore that mystery, take a moment to reflect. What gifts are stirring within you? What divine potential is waiting to be awakened? Remember, the awakening of spiritual gifts isn't just about discovering new abilities. It's about unveiling your true divine purpose. These gifts are the tools through which divine love manifests in the world, transforming not only the gift bearer but all those whose lives they touch. Divine Secret 4, the dance of destiny and free will. Have you ever wondered about the delicate dance between destiny and free will? What if I told you that being chosen by God doesn't mean surrendering your freedom, but rather discovering a deeper kind of liberty? How can we understand this profound mystery that has puzzled theologians and philosophers for centuries? Let me share a powerful story from the life of Moses, one of the most remarkable chosen ones in biblical history. Picture this: a Hebrew baby, born in a time of persecution, placed in a basket on the Nile River. Through what appeared to be chance, or was it divine orchestration, he was discovered by Pharaoh's daughter. Moses grew up in the luxury of the Egyptian palace, yet something stirred within his heart. Here's where the dance of destiny and free will becomes fascinating. Despite his privileged position, Moses made a crucial choice when he witnessed an Egyptian overseer beating a Hebrew slave. He could have turned away, protecting his comfortable life, but instead he chose to act. This moment perfectly illustrates our fourth divine secret. Moses' destiny was to lead the Israelites to freedom, but the path to fulfilling that destiny was paved with countless personal choices. Each decision he made, defending the slave, fleeing to Midian, returning to Egypt despite the dangers, was an exercise of his free will that aligned with his divine purpose. But here's what makes this even more intriguing. When God appeared to Moses in the burning bush, he didn't command Moses to accept his mission. Instead, God engaged in a dialogue, addressing Moses' doubts and concerns. This reveals a profound truth about how divine destiny works with human free will. Think about this. The same God who parted the Red Sea and delivered the Ten Commandments chose to respect Moses' free will, allowing him to voice his fears and reservations. "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" Moses asked. God didn't override his doubts but provided assurance and support, demonstrating how divine destiny works in partnership with human choice. This dance between destiny and free will isn't just about grand history, altering moments. It plays out in our daily lives too. Just as Moses faced pivotal decisions, each chosen one encounters moments where their choices either align with or diverge from their divine purpose. Consider the prophet Jonah, who initially chose to run from his calling. His story teaches us that while we can't escape our destiny, we have the freedom to choose how we approach it. Even when Jonah fled to Tarshish, God didn't force him to comply, but created circumstances that led him to willingly embrace his mission. The key to understanding this divine secret lies in recognizing that God's chosen ones aren't puppets on strings, but partners in a divine plan. Your free will isn't eliminated when you're chosen, it's elevated. Each choice becomes more meaningful because it's made in the context of a greater purpose. This brings us to a crucial insight. The highest expression of free will isn't doing whatever we want, but freely choosing to align with our divine purpose. It's like a master dancer who, through years of training, finds true freedom within the structure of the dance. When you understand this secret, you begin to see your choices differently. Every decision becomes an opportunity to step more fully into your divine purpose. The pressure to make perfect choices diminishes as you realize that even apparent missteps can be redirected toward your ultimate destiny. As we move forward in our exploration of these divine secrets, remember that being chosen doesn't mean losing your autonomy. Instead, it means discovering the profound freedom that comes from aligning your choices with divine purpose. Your free will and God's plan aren't in competition. They're in communion. This leads us naturally to our next divine secret, which reveals how to recognize and trust the inner guidance that helps us make choices aligned with our divine purpose. But before we move on, take a moment to reflect. How has the dance of destiny and free will played out in your own life? Have you experienced moments where your choices seem to align perfectly with a higher purpose? Divine Secret 5. The power of divine intuition. Have you ever experienced that unmistakable feeling, a whisper in your soul that guided you away from danger? What about those moments when you inexplicably knew something was about to happen, only to watch it unfold exactly as you sensed? How do we explain these mysterious promptings that seem to transcend ordinary understanding? Let me share a remarkable story from the winter of 1944, when a young chaplain named Frederick Matthews served at a military base in the Pacific during World War II. One seemingly ordinary evening while preparing for bed, Matthews felt an overwhelming urge to visit the airfield, a sensation so powerful it made his hands tremble. Despite the late hour and clear skies, something deep within compelled him to act. This experience mirrors the biblical account of Philip in Acts 8:26-40, when the Spirit directed him to take a specific road to Gaza. Just as Philip followed that divine prompting without question, Matthews too heeded his intuitive call. Upon reaching the airfield, Matthews found everything peaceful and quiet, yet the sensation persisted. Following his inner guidance, he began walking the perimeter, letting his intuition lead the way. As he approached a particular aircraft, the feeling intensified. Something wasn't right, though nothing appeared unusual to the naked eye. Matthews called for an immediate inspection of the aircraft. The mechanics were puzzled by his insistence. The plane had been cleared for a critical mission the next morning. But Matthews stood firm, trusting this inexplicable knowing. What they discovered sent chills through the entire base. A crucial mechanical failure that would have led to catastrophic results mid-flight. The mission would have carried 23 young airmen, all of whom were saved because one man trusted his divine intuition. This powerful form of guidance, what we call divine intuition, is not random. It's a sacred connection between the human soul and divine wisdom. In the Bible, we see this illustrated repeatedly, from Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dreams to Daniel's supernatural insights, to Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dreams to Daniel's soup. These weren't mere coincidences or lucky guesses, but manifestations of a deeper spiritual faculty that God awakens in His chosen ones. Think of divine intuition as a spiritual muscle that grows stronger with use. Just as Samuel learned to recognize God's voice in the temple, 1 Samuel 3, chosen ones today must learn to discern and trust these divine promptings. It's a skill that develops through practice, patience, and purification. But here's what makes divine intuition truly extraordinary. It operates beyond the limitations of human reasoning. When Matthews felt that urgent prompting, he couldn't explain it logically. There were no visible signs of danger, no rational reason for concern. Yet this intuitive knowing proved more reliable than all the standard safety checks and procedures. This leads us to a crucial understanding. Divine intuition often challenges our logical mind. It may urge us to take actions that seem unnecessary, impractical, or even foolish by worldly standards. Yet time and again, those who trust these promptings discover their profound wisdom. Consider this. How often have you dismissed that quiet inner voice, only to later wish you had listened? How many times has your logical mind overruled your intuitive knowing, leading to regret? These moments aren't coincidences. They're instances of divine guidance seeking to protect, direct, and enlighten you. The development of divine intuition follows a pattern we see throughout Scripture. First comes the awakening, moments when God begins to speak to your heart in new ways. Then comes the testing, situations that challenge you to trust these promptings despite logical objections. Finally comes the confirmation, when following your intuition leads to outcomes that could only be divinely orchestrated. As we wrap up this divine secret, remember that intuition isn't just about preventing disasters or making decisions. It's about developing a deeper, more intimate connection with the divine. It's about learning to recognize and trust God's voice in your daily life, just as a child learns to recognize their parent's voice among thousands. As we transition to our next divine secret, consider this. If divine intuition is the compass that guides us internally, how does this inner guidance manifest in our external actions? This brings us to our next revelation, the transformative power of sacred service. Divine Secret 6, the path of sacred service. Have you ever wondered why true spiritual fulfillment often comes when we least expect it? What if I told you that the greatest secret of being chosen lies not in what we receive, but in what we receive, but in what we give? And what makes service not just an action, but a transformative path to divine connection? Let me share a profound story that illuminates this divine secret, one that begins in the ancient city of Jerusalem nearly 2,000 years ago. In the narrow streets of the holy city, there lived a wealthy merchant named Benjamin. Despite his material success, he felt an inexplicable emptiness, a void that no amount of wealth could fill. Like many of us today, he sought spiritual fulfillment through traditional means, attending temple services, offering sacrifices, and studying sacred texts. But everything changed one stormy night when a group of travelers sought shelter at his door. They were poor, hungry, and exhausted from their journey. Initially hesitant, Benjamin remembered the words from Isaiah 58:7. Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? What happened next would transform his understanding of divine purpose forever. As he cared for these strangers, something extraordinary began to unfold. With each act of service, Benjamin felt a profound shift within himself. The emptiness that had haunted him began to fill with something far more precious than gold, a deep, unshakable connection to the divine. This story reflects a fundamental truth about being chosen. True spiritual awakening often comes through selfless service. Think about Moses, who found his divine purpose not in the Pharaoh's palace, but while tending sheep in the wilderness. Consider Mother Teresa, who discovered her highest calling in the streets of Calcutta, serving those whom society had forgotten. But here's what makes this divine secret particularly powerful. Service isn't just about helping others, it's a profound mechanism for spiritual transformation. When we serve others selflessly, we activate what mystics call the divine circuit, a flow of grace that transforms both the giver and the receiver. Let me explain this through another powerful example. In the 12th century, there lived a wealthy nobleman named Francis of Assisi. Like Benjamin, he had everything society valued, yet felt spiritually empty. His transformation began when he encountered a leper on the road, someone he would normally avoid. In that moment of choosing to serve rather than turn away, Francis experienced what he later described as sweetness in soul and body. This brings us to a crucial understanding. Service as a divine secret operates on 3 levels. First, it breaks down the illusion of separation between ourselves and others. When we serve, we recognize our fundamental interconnectedness, a truth that lies at the heart of being chosen. Second, service acts as a purifying force, gradually dissolving our ego's resistance to divine grace. Every act of selfless service creates space for more light to enter our being. Third, and perhaps most profoundly, service aligns us with the very nature of the divine. As the ancient texts remind us, the Creator continuously gives life, sustenance, and love to all creation. When we serve others, we participate in this divine activity. But here's what many miss about this secret. True service isn't about grand gestures or recognized achievements. It's found in the small, often unnoticed moments of giving, a kind word to someone in pain, a helping hand to a stranger, or simply being present for someone in need. Think of it like a garden. Each act of service is like planting a seed. Some seeds may sprout quickly, others may take years, but each one contributes to the overall transformation of the landscape of our souls. As we transition to our final divine secret, remember this. Being chosen isn't about receiving special privileges. It's about becoming a channel through which divine love can flow into the world. Every act of service, no matter how small, opens that channel wider. Consider this. When was the last time you felt truly fulfilled? Chances are it was in a moment of giving rather than receiving. This is no coincidence. It's evidence of this divine secret at work in your life. How has service transformed your spiritual journey? Share your experience in the comments below by typing "serve" followed by your story. Your insight might be exactly what another seeker needs to hear today. As we prepare to explore our final divine secret, remember, the path of sacred service isn't just about what we do. It's about who we become in the process. And sometimes, the most profound transformations happen in the smallest acts of giving, Divine Secret 7, the mystery of divine timing. Have you ever felt that the timing in your life seemed too perfect to be coincidental? What if those moments of divine synchronicity weren't random at all, but carefully orchestrated by a higher purpose? And what if understanding this divine timing could transform your entire spiritual journey? Let me share a profound story from the Bible that illustrates this mystery of divine timing. In the book of Esther, we encounter a young Jewish woman who became queen of Persia for such a time as this. The narrative unfolds in the magnificent city of Susa, where the Persian Empire stretched across 127 provinces. Esther, formerly known as Hadassah, found herself in an extraordinary position, chosen as queen through what appeared to be a series of random events. Yet, as the story reveals, her elevation to the throne was anything but random. The palace walls, adorned with gold and precious stones, witnessed a divine plan unfolding with precise timing. When her people faced imminent destruction due to Haman's evil plot, Esther's cousin Mordecai spoke these immortal words, "Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" This pivotal moment revealed the intricate orchestration of divine timing. Consider the precision. If Esther had been chosen as queen too early, she might not have developed the wisdom needed for such a crucial moment. If too late, the opportunity to save her people would have passed. The timing was perfect, not by chance, but by divine design. This brings us to a profound truth about divine timing in our own lives. Like Esther, we often find ourselves in situations that seem random or even unfortunate at first glance. But these moments are often precisely timed divine appointments. Think about those times in your life when something happened at exactly the right moment, a chance meeting, an unexpected opportunity, or even an apparent setback that later proved to be a blessing. These aren't coincidences, they're examples of divine timing at work. But here's where many misunderstand divine timing. It's not about passive waiting. Esther had to take action when the moment came. She fasted, prayed, and then stepped forward with courage. Divine timing requires both patience and readiness, waiting for the right moment while preparing for it. This principle appears throughout Scripture. Joseph spent years in prison before his divine moment came to interpret Pharaoh's dreams. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before his burning bush moment. David waited years between his anointing and actually becoming king. The mystery of divine timing teaches us that every season has its purpose. The waiting period isn't empty time, it's preparation time. Those moments when nothing seems to be happening are often when the most important preparation is taking place. Consider this. A farmer can't rush the harvest by pulling harder on the crops. There's a natural rhythm to growth, a divine timing that must be respected. The same applies to our spiritual journey. Some lessons can only be learned through seasons of waiting. Modern life pushes us to rush everything, to demand immediate results. But divine timing operates on a different schedule. It's about aligning with a higher purpose that often unfolds in ways we couldn't have planned or predicted. There's a powerful truth. When we align with divine timing, we enter a flow where things happen not just at the right time, but in the right way. Doors open, resources appear, and connections form with an elegance that no human planning could achieve. This doesn't mean we'll never feel impatient or uncertain. Even Esther faced moments of doubt and fear. But understanding divine timing gives us confidence that our steps are ordered by a higher wisdom that sees the end from the beginning. As we prepare to bring all these divine secrets together, remember that divine timing isn't just about when things happen. It's about the perfect orchestration of all elements necessary for your purpose to unfold. Just as Esther's position, courage, and moment of decision came together perfectly, your life is being choreographed with the same divine precision. The question isn't whether divine timing is at work in your life. It's whether you're paying attention to its subtle rhythms and preparing yourself for the moments when heaven and earth align for your purpose. As we've journeyed through these 7 divine secrets, we've seen how each one builds upon the others, creating a complete picture of how God chooses and prepares those called for higher purposes. Conclusion: the integrated journey. As we conclude our exploration of these 7 divine secrets, we've uncovered profound truths about how God chooses the chosen ones. This journey isn't just about understanding divine selection. It's about recognizing the sacred dance between human potential and divine potential and divine purpose. Through each secret, we've seen how being chosen isn't about superiority, but about service. From the initial call to the heart, through the purification process, to the mystery of divine timing, each step reveals a deeper layer of this sacred journey. Remember, these secrets aren't meant to remain theoretical knowledge. They're living truths waiting to be experienced in your own life. The question isn't whether you're chosen, It's whether you're ready to embrace the calling that's already stirring within your soul. Perhaps you've felt that stirring as we've explored these secrets together. Maybe you've recognized patterns in your own life that suddenly make sense. Moments of divine timing, unexpected gifts emerging, or a persistent call to something greater than yourself. Now, I invite you to take the next step. Share your story in the comments below. When did you first feel that divine calling? What challenges have you faced in embracing your purpose? Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. This isn't just about individual journeys. It's about building a community of seekers who understand that being chosen comes with both profound privileges and sacred responsibilities. Together, we can support and inspire each other as we walk this path. If you've resonated with these messages, if you felt that spark of recognition in your soul, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Each week, we delve deeper into spiritual truths that can transform your journey from ordinary to extraordinary, from ordinary to extraordinary. And here's a special invitation. Type "awakened" in the comments if you're ready to step fully into your divine purpose. Let's create a powerful community of spiritual seekers who understand that being chosen isn't about waiting for permission. It's about accepting the call that's already within you. Thank you for joining me on this profound exploration. Remember, you're not just watching a video, you're participating in a divine appointment. The very fact that you're here in this moment might be exactly the divine timing you've been waiting for. Until next time, stay blessed and continue shining your light. Your journey as a chosen one is just beginning, and the world needs your unique gifts now more than ever. Remember, every great journey begins with a single step. Will you take yours today?